The 1944 wheat penny with the S mint mark is more than just a small piece of copper. It is a remarkable symbol of American history, wartime perseverance, and numismatic fascination. To understand why this coin is so highly prized by collectors, today, one must look beyond its simple appearance and consider the world in which it was created. In 1944, the United States was at the height of World War II, a conflict that consumed nearly every ounce of the nation's industrial capacity. The U.S. Mint, like every other government institution, was tasked with finding ways to conserve resources for the war effort while still ensuring that commerce could function smoothly. Just a year earlier, in 1943, pennies were struck in steel, coated with zinc instead of the traditional copper because copper was urgently needed for ammunition and military equipment. That single year of experimentation with steel coins created a wave of controversy, as the coins rusted easily and were sometimes mistaken for dimes. So, in 1944, the Mint decided to return to using copper for the penny, but not the standard virgin copper that had been used before. Instead, many 1944 pennies, including the ones struck at the San Francisco Mint, were created using recycled shell casings from the battlefield. This remarkable fact alone makes the 1944 S wheat penny a true artifact of wartime America, as each coin carries within it the remnants of weapons and ammunition once used by soldiers fighting overseas. The obverse of the coin proudly features the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. His portrait, solemn and dignified, represents the nation's values of unity, leadership, and endurance during turbulent times. On the reverse side, the simple yet striking wheat ears, placed on either side of the words 1 cent, symbolize abundance and agricultural prosperity. While the design remained consistent for decades, each year and each minting location produced subtle differences in rarity and desirability. The S mint mark, located just below the date, indicates that this coin was produced at the San Francisco Mint, one of the 3 primary mints in operation at the time. San Francisco issues were often struck in smaller quantities compared to Philadelphia or Denver, which is one of the reasons the 1944 S penny stands out as especially collectible today. Another crucial factor behind the value of this coin is its condition. In coin collecting, even the smallest difference in quality can mean the difference between a coin worth only a few cents and one worth thousands of dollars. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor, heavily worn, barely identifiable, to mint state, flawless, with no signs of circulation. For the 1944 S wheat penny, specimens in circulated condition are still relatively common, but when found in pristine, uncirculated states, their value skyrockets. Collectors and investors look for sharp details in Lincoln's portrait, clear wheat stalks on the reverse, and that distinctive mint mark with no signs of wear. Such qualities can elevate a coin's worth to $6,400 or more, as seen in auction, records, and private sales. But value is not determined by condition alone. Rarity and demand are equally important. While millions of 1944 S pennies were minted, the survival rate of high-grade examples is much lower. Many coins endured years of circulation in pockets, purses, and cash registers, gradually wearing away. Their detail. Additionally, as time passed, countless pennies were lost, discarded, or damaged beyond recognition. This natural process of attrition ensures that only a fraction of the original mintage still exists in collectible form today. The 1944 S, when preserved in exceptional condition, becomes a rare treasure that collectors are willing to pay a premium to acquire. The sentimental connection to World War II also increases demand, as history enthusiasts and coin collectors alike view the penny as a tangible link to America's past. An intriguing aspect of the 1944 S penny is the presence of varieties and errors that occurred during its production. The U.S. Mint, even with its strict quality standards, was not immune to mistakes. Coins with doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes are highly sought after by specialists, as they represent unique variations within the series. For example, a 1944 S with a repunched mint mark, where the S appears slightly doubled, can be worth significantly more than a standard example. These varieties are studied carefully by numismatists who examine the tiniest details under magnification to authenticate and classify them. Such discoveries add an extra layer of excitement to the pursuit of this coin, as even seemingly minor differences can result in substantial increases in value. The broader significance of the 1944 S. Wheat penny extends beyond numismatics. It is a coin that tells a story of resilience, recycling, and remembrance. Imagine holding in your hand a penny that might contain metal from spent shell casings collected on the battlefields of Europe or the Pacific. That small coin, which once circulated freely in post-war America, represents not only the nation's economic system, but also the sacrifices made by millions of soldiers and civilians alike. For this reason, collectors often see the 1944 S penny as more than just currency. It is a miniature monument to an era of courage and determination. When it comes to investment potential, the 1944 S penny is also an attractive option. The numismatic market is influenced by trends, but certain coins have demonstrated consistent growth in value due to their rarity, history, and collector demand. The 1944 S, especially in high grades, certified by trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC, falls squarely into this category. Investors recognize its potential not only as a collectible, but also as a tangible asset that can appreciate over time. The combination of limited supply and ongoing demand ensures that the market value of $6,400 is not a ceiling, but rather a benchmark that could rise as the years go on. In summary, the 1944 wheat penny with the S mint mark is a coin that captures the imagination. It blends artistry, history, and rarity in a way that few coins can. From its wartime origins using recycled shell casings to its enduring legacy as a symbol of American perseverance, this penny commands both respect and admiration. Its design connects us to Abraham Lincoln and the ideals he represented, while its mint mark and condition elevate it into the realm of true numismatic treasures. Whether valued for its historical context, its scarcity in top grades, or its impressive market price of $6,400, the 1944 S wheat penny remains one of the most engaging coins a collector can hope to encounter. Owning such a coin is not just about possessing metal. It is about holding a piece of history that continues to inspire curiosity and wonder nearly 80 years after it was minted. Next up, 1946, wheat penny with no mint mark. Value $5,600. The 1946 wheat penny with no mint mark is a remarkable artifact from the immediate aftermath of World War II, reflecting not only the economic landscape of the United States during that time, but also the resilience of a nation transitioning from wartime production back to peacetime prosperity. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin bears no mint mark, a characteristic that identifies it as part of the primary output of America's oldest minting facility. For collectors and historians alike, the 1946 no mint mark penny carries layers of significance. It is a product of a world in recovery, a piece of artistry in miniature, and today, a highly sought-after collectible capable of reaching market values of $5,600 when found in pristine condition. To fully understand the appeal of this coin, one must look at the historical setting, design, scarcity, and the intricate factors that elevate its worth. In 1946, the United States was emerging from the devastation of World War II, which had officially ended just the year before. The American economy was undergoing rapid changes, shifting away from the full-throttle production of tanks, planes, and munitions toward consumer goods and infrastructure. During the war, the copper used to make pennies had been diverted to essential military applications, leading to the famous steel cents of 1943. By 1946, however, copper once again became available for civilian coinage. The Philadelphia Mint resumed striking pennies in the traditional bronze alloy, consisting of 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. Each of these coins symbolized a return to normalcy, as Americans were eager to leave behind the hardships of rationing and wartime austerity. The 1946 penny thus became one of the first coins to represent this new era of economic optimism. The design of the 1946 wheat penny remained true to Victor David Brenner's original 1909 concept, honoring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Lincoln's profile, facing right, carries with it an aura of strength, wisdom, and unity that was especially meaningful in a time when Americans were healing from years of global conflict. On the reverse, the iconic wheat ears flanking the denomination 1 cent symbolize abundance and growth, an appropriate motif for a country entering a period of expansion and renewal. The inscriptions E pluribus unum and United States of America emphasize national unity and collective purpose. Although millions of 1946 pennies were struck, it is these symbolic details in design and historical context that elevate the coin beyond its face value. The absence of a mint mark is another defining feature. While Denver and San Francisco produced their own 1946 pennies, the Philadelphia Mint traditionally issued coins without a mint mark. Collectors quickly learned to identify the distinction, as coins without a mint mark can sometimes command greater attention depending on survival rates and condition. The Philadelphia Mint produced vast quantities, but finding superb, untouched specimens is a challenge. Many of the coins that entered circulation endured years of use, with their surfaces worn down, details faded, and luster lost. However, when an uncirculated 1946 penny from Philadelphia is discovered, its copper gleaming with a rich, original red tone, it becomes a true prize, commanding prices as high as $5,600 at auctions and in private sales. What makes the 1946 no mint mark wheat penny especially intriguing to collectors is not just its general history, but also the specific varieties and striking anomalies that occasionally emerge. For instance, double die errors, die cracks, and repunched mint marks from this era are highly collectible. Even though the Philadelphia Mint coin lacks a mint mark, varieties involving doubling of the date or the motto, "In God We Trust," have been reported. These anomalies serve as windows into the minting process, showcasing the mechanical limitations and human oversight of the mid-20th century. Collectors who specialize in errors often place a premium on these pieces, seeing them as rare deviations from the norm that highlight the unpredictability of coin production. Beyond varieties, condition plays the most critical role in determining the coin's market value. A 1946 penny with surface scratches, discoloration, or circulation wear may only be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars. However, coins preserved in mint state grades, particularly those that retain their original fiery red luster, are valued exponentially higher. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC have certified many examples, but only a fraction achieve the coveted high grades that investors seek. It is these superior examples that cross the threshold into the thousands, with values around $5,600 reflecting both scarcity and collector demand. The distinction between red, red-brown, and brown coloration further affects desirability, with red coins being the most prized due to their vibrant appearance and minimal oxidation. The economic and cultural significance of the 1946 penny also plays a role in its desirability. For everyday Americans in the mid-20th century, the penny was an essential part of commerce, often used for small purchases such as candy, newspapers, or bus fares. Each coin passed through countless hands, silently witnessing daily life in post-war America. To hold an uncirculated 1946 penny today is to hold a piece of that history, untouched by the wear of circulation. It is as though the coin was set aside at the moment of its creation, preserved for future generations to marvel at. That preservation is what gives modern collectors the chance to connect directly with the past, not through imagination, but through tangible metal that has survived nearly 8 decades. From an investment perspective, the 1946 no-mint mark penny demonstrates the enduring strength of numismatics as a hobby and market. Coins that combine historical significance, artistic design, and relative scarcity often appreciate steadily over time. The fact that a 1-cent piece can be worth $5,600 in today's market underscores the powerful role that condition, rarity, and demand play in shaping value. Collectors often compete fiercely at auctions for top-grade examples, driving prices upward and ensuring that this coin remains a centerpiece in many numismatic collections. Moreover, because it comes from such a pivotal year in U.S. history, the 1946 penny appeals not only to specialists in Lincoln cents, but also to broader audiences interested in wartime and post-war Americana. Perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of the 1946 penny is how it embodies continuity and change simultaneously. On the one hand, it carried forward a design that had already been in use since 1909, linking it to decades of tradition. On the other hand, it marked a turning point, as America shifted from war to peace, from scarcity to abundance, and from uncertainty to growth. Each coin minted in Philadelphia that year reflects that historical transition, serving as a miniature time capsule. For collectors, the joy lies not only in the ownership of the coin itself, but also in the stories it tells about the people who lived during that era, the mint workers who struck it, and the society that used it in daily transactions. In conclusion, the 1946 wheat penny with no mint mark is far more than just a common coin. It is a symbol of America's resilience after World War II, a showcase of classic numismatic artistry, and a highly prized collectible when found in outstanding condition. Its market value of $5,600 highlights how rarity, preservation, and historical significance can transform an ordinary copper cent into an extraordinary treasure. Each example is a reminder that even the smallest pieces of change can carry immense cultural and financial weight, bridging the gap between past and present. For those fortunate enough to own one, the 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny is not just a collectible. It is a story, an investment, and a piece of living history all rolled into a single shining coin. Next up, 1949. Wheat penny with no mint mark, value $5,200. The 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark is a fascinating piece of post-war American coinage, one that speaks volumes about a nation stepping confidently into a new era after years of uncertainty. While it may appear to be just another small bronze coin to the untrained eye, in reality, this cent embodies the transition of the United States from the austerity of the 1940s into the growth and optimism of the 1950s. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint. The absence of a mint mark makes this coin instantly recognizable to collectors as part of the nation's primary production facility, which in 1949 was churning out millions of cents to support America's rapidly expanding consumer economy. Despite the large numbers minted, today, the 1949 no-mint mark wheat penny is a collectible that can command an impressive $5,200 in top condition, thanks to its rarity and superb preservation, its connection to mid-20th century history, and its enduring appeal among Lincoln cent enthusiasts. To understand the full significance of this coin, one must first appreciate the historical backdrop against which it was produced. By 1949, the United States had fully emerged from the turmoil of World War II, and the country was settling into its new role as a global superpower. The late 1940s were marked by rapid suburban growth, technological advancements, and the beginnings of the Cold War. Inflationary pressures from the war years were starting to stabilize, and Americans were increasingly able to enjoy the benefits of prosperity. The penny, still an important part of everyday commerce, was widely used for small purchases such as a newspaper, a loaf of bread, or a trolley ride. Each cent struck in that year was therefore not just a monetary tool, but also a silent witness to this transformative period in U.S. history. The design of the 1949 wheat penny remains one of its most enduring attractions. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's bust, created by Victor David Brenner to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth in 1909. Lincoln's image had by then become firmly entrenched as a national icon, symbolizing honesty, leadership, and unity. The inscription, "In God We Trust," arches above his portrait, a reminder of the nation's guiding principles, while liberty and the date 1949 complete the composition. On the reverse, the two stylized ears of wheat frame the denomination 1 cent and the inscription United States of America. Above this appears E Pluribus Unum, a motto emphasizing unity and diversity. Though simple, the wheat ears carried symbolic weight, representing growth, harvest, and plenty, an apt reflection of America's post-war optimism and abundance. The Philadelphia Mint was the only facility not to use a mint mark on its coins, and as such, the 1949 no mint mark. Wheat penny is distinguished from its Denver D and San Francisco S counterparts. Philadelphia struck the highest number of cents in 1949, yet despite the large mintage, collectors today face a surprising challenge: finding examples in pristine mint state condition. Over the decades, countless pennies were used in circulation, exposed to wear, scratches, discoloration, and corrosion. As a result, truly exceptional specimens, those that retain their original coppery red luster and sharp detail, have become scarce, which explains why values for top-graded coins can reach $500 or more. One of the key elements that influences the coin's desirability is its condition as determined by professional grading services. Organizations such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins with extraordinary precision, assigning grades based on criteria such as luster, strike quality, and preservation. For the 1949 no mint mark penny, the distinction between a coin graded MS-65 and one graded MS-67 can mean a difference of thousands of dollars in value. Collectors are especially drawn to those examples designated as red by grading agencies, meaning the coin has retained its original fiery coloration rather than toning down to a reddish-brown or full brown surface. These bright red specimens are considered the pinnacle of collectability, representing not just monetary value, but also a snapshot of the coin's appearance at the moment it left the minting press. Beyond condition, varieties and minting anomalies add to the coin's intrigue. The 1949 wheat penny is known to have several collectible die varieties, such as double dies, repunch dates, and die cracks. For example, in some cases, the digits in the date 1949 show signs of doubling or misalignment, creating an unusual visual effect. These varieties are relatively rare but command strong premiums when authenticated, as they represent errors in the minting process that were never meant to leave the mint. Such coins appeal to specialists who relish the thrill of discovering minute differences that set one specimen apart from the millions of standard issues. Even minor anomalies, such as off-center strikes, can make a 1949 penny more desirable, adding depth to its already rich collecting story. The market value of the 1949 no mint mark wheat penny, currently around $500 for high-grade examples, reflects a balance of factors including scarcity, condition, and demand. Unlike common circulated examples that may fetch only a few cents, mint state survivors with strong eye appeal are prized possessions in competitive numismatic circles. Auction records reveal that collectors are willing to pay significant premiums for superb examples, and prices have steadily risen over the years as interest in wheat pennies continues to grow. This upward trajectory suggests that the 1949 penny, while often overlooked by casual collectors, is a sleeper coin in the Lincoln Cent series, with strong long-term investment potential. Another layer of significance comes from the cultural and historical associations tied to the year 1949. This was the year when NATO was formed. The first non-stop round-the-world airplane flight was completed, and television began to make its way into American homes as a defining medium of communication. In that same year, pennies were changing hands in corner stores, theaters, and diners across the country, silently serving their purpose as humble units of exchange. Today, to hold a 1949 penny is to touch a piece of that moment in time, a reminder of the lives and stories of everyday Americans who once used these coins in their daily routines. This sense of connection to history adds immeasurable, intangible value, deepening the coin's appeal beyond its numismatic worth. For collectors who pursue complete sets of wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958, the 1949 issue represents an essential piece of the puzzle. Completing such a set requires not only diligence, but also an appreciation of the subtle variations between years, mints, and conditions. The 1949 Philadelphia cent, especially in high grades, becomes a key acquisition, often separating casual collectors from more advanced numismatists. Its combination of relative availability in lower grades and extreme scarcity in higher ones makes it both approachable and aspirational, ensuring its place as a centerpiece in many collections. In conclusion, the 1949 wheat penny with no mint mark is far more than just a common cent. It is a coin that reflects America's journey into the mid-20th century, blending history, artistry, and economic significance. From its symbolic design honoring Abraham Lincoln and celebrating abundance to its historical context as part of post-war America's recovery, this penny captures the essence of its era. Its market value of $5,200 in top condition underscores the importance of preservation, rarity, and demand in shaping numismatic worth. Whether cherished as part of a complete wheat penny collection, pursued for its investment potential, or admired as a tangible piece of history, the 1949 no-mint mark penny continues to fascinate and inspire collectors. To own such a coin is not just to possess a piece of copper, but to hold a story of resilience, growth, and the enduring legacy of one of America's most beloved coin series. Next up, 1951 wheat penny with no mint mark, value $4,150. The 1951 wheat penny with no mint mark is an intriguing collectible, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but carries with it an extraordinary story tied to America's mid-20th century era. Minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark, this penny is part of the iconic Lincoln Cent series, a collection beloved by generations of numismatists. Although produced in large numbers, the 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny is far from common when found in exceptional condition, with pristine examples reaching market values as high as $4,150 today. Its appeal lies not only in its physical qualities, but also in the broader historical and cultural landscape of the early 1950s, a decade defined by change, optimism, and the cementing of America's role as a global leader. The year 1951 was a pivotal time for the United States. The nation was in the midst of the Korean War, balancing military commitments abroad with an expanding economy at home. The Cold War was intensifying, yet American society was marked by growth in education, suburban housing, and consumer culture. In this environment, the humble penny played a vital role in daily commerce. It was used to buy a morning newspaper, a piece of candy, or a phone call at a pay station. Millions of these coins passed through the hands of workers, students, and families, embedding themselves into the very fabric of American life. Today, to study a 1951 penny is to explore not just numismatics but also the social and economic realities of the time. The design of the coin is central to its timeless charm. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's bust remains the focal point, a design introduced in 1909 by Victor David Brenner. By 1951, Lincoln's portrait had become more than a commemoration of his 100th birthday. It had become an enduring emblem of national identity and values. His forward-facing profile represents leadership, honesty, and the unifying spirit of the nation. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1951 to the right complete the front design with a balance of elegance and symbolism. On the reverse, the two wheat ears encircle the words "1 cent" and "United States of America," accompanied by the Latin motto "E pluribus unum." These wheat ears, symbolic of agricultural abundance and prosperity, tied the design to themes of growth and stability, ideals especially significant in the early 1950s as Americans sought security during uncertain global times. The Philadelphia Mint, the oldest in the country, produced the 1951 penny in massive numbers, yet coins struck there bore no mint mark. While this might seem to make the Philadelphia issue less special, the truth is quite the opposite. The lack of a mint mark makes these coins instantly recognizable as part of the mint's main production, and when found in gem condition, they become rarities highly coveted by collectors. Over decades of circulation, the vast majority of these coins were worn down or damaged, leaving only a small fraction in superior states of preservation. It is this scarcity of top-quality examples that allows their value to soar, with high-grade specimens selling for around $40 to $150 in today's numismatic market. Condition is the single most important determinant of the coin's value. Circulated examples, which often appear darkened, worn, or scratched, typically hold only modest worth. However, uncirculated pieces that retain their original red brilliance are prized treasures. Professional grading services like NGC and PCGS play a crucial role in authenticating and classifying these coins, assigning grades that directly influence market prices. Collectors especially seek coins that achieve mint state grades, MS65 and above, where even the smallest details, such as the strands of Lincoln's hair, the sharpness of the wheat ears, and the clarity of inscriptions, are preserved in stunning detail. Such specimens are rare, and their scarcity drives up demand among advanced collectors who are determined to complete high-quality sets of wheat pennies. In addition to condition, varieties and minting anomalies add layers of fascination to the 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny. Although the Philadelphia Mint was known for its precision, occasional errors slipped through. These included doubled dies, die cracks, and slight misalignments during striking. For example, some collectors have identified 1951 cents with subtle doubling on the date or inscriptions. Such varieties are rare, but when authenticated, they can command premiums well above the already impressive values for standard mint state coins. Errors and varieties highlight the mechanical complexity of coin production, turning what might have been a minor imperfection into a highly sought-after collectible. Beyond its numismatic appeal, the 1951 penny carries historical significance that enhances its desirability. In that year, President Harry S. Truman was guiding the country through the challenges of the Korean conflict, while also setting the stage for domestic policies that would define the decade. Advances in technology, from television broadcasts to scientific discoveries, were reshaping American culture. Every penny struck in Philadelphia that year is thus more than a piece of metal. It is a token of that unique time in history. To hold a 1951 penny is to hold a fragment of a story that includes both the ordinary lives of American citizens and the extraordinary global events unfolding around them. The coin also has a special role in the world of collectors pursuing complete wheat penny sets. The Lincoln Cent series, spanning from 1909 to 1958, with the wheat reverse design, is one of the most popular and widely collected in U.S. numismatics. For many, the challenge lies not in finding every date and mint mark, but in finding them in the highest possible grade. The 1951 no-mint mark penny, while relatively common in circulated form, is a true test of patience and determination when it comes to locating uncirculated gems. This makes it both an accessible entry point for beginners and a serious challenge for seasoned numismatists. Its ability to bridge both ends of the collecting spectrum ensures its lasting place in the market. From an investment perspective, the 1951 wheat penny without a mint mark illustrates the potential of small denomination coins to become valuable assets over time. While it may have started as a simple cent, its current valuation of $4,150 in top condition highlights the enduring appeal of coins that combine rarity, quality, and historical relevance. As more collectors recognize the importance of securing high-grade examples, prices have continued to trend upward. Coins certified by professional grading companies not only preserve their condition, but also instill confidence in buyers, further fueling demand. For investors seeking tangible assets that carry both financial and cultural weight, the 1951 penny fits the bill perfectly. In terms of symbolism, the 1951 penny also marks a bridge between eras. It was struck in a decade that stood at the crossroads, between post-war adjustment and the prosperity of the mid-century boom. Its wheat reverse design would only last a few more years before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959, making the 1951 issue part of the closing chapters of the beloved wheat penny era. Collectors often view these later wheat cents as especially nostalgic, representing the end of a design that had endured for half a century. In this way, the 1951 penny is not just a coin, but a farewell to a long and meaningful tradition in American coinage. In conclusion, the 1951 wheat penny with no mint mark is a fascinating piece of numismatic history, combining artistry, symbolism, rarity, and cultural resonance. Though millions were minted, only a precious few survive in the uncirculated states that bring values up to $4,150. Making them treasures for collectors and investors alike. The coin captures the spirit of its time, an America balancing global responsibilities with domestic growth, a society embracing optimism while facing challenges, and a mint producing humble cents that would one day become highly prized artifacts. To own a 1951 penny in exceptional condition is to hold a fragment of that story, a timeless reminder that even the smallest coins can embody immense history, value, and beauty. Next up, the 1953 wheat penny with the D mint mark is one of those classic coins that reminds collectors why numismatics is such a fascinating field. At first glance, it may appear to be an ordinary copper penny, but beneath its modest surface lies a story of history, craftsmanship, and value. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is known for producing some of the most widely circulated Lincoln cents during the mid-20th century. The Denver Mint was heavily involved in meeting the growing demand for coinage in the United States after World War II, as the economy expanded, industries grew, and the population required more currency for everyday transactions. As a result, the 1953 D wheat penny was produced in high quantities. Yet despite its large mintage, only a limited number survive today in top condition. It is this combination of accessibility, historical background, and rarity in higher grades that makes it so appealing to collectors. Today, depending on its preservation and condition, the 1953 D wheat penny can command a market value of around $2,900. Especially when graded by professional services like NGC or PCGS. When discussing the coin's design, it's essential to appreciate the artistic vision of Victor David Brenner, the sculptor behind the Lincoln cent. Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side had already been circulating since 1909, marking the centennial of Lincoln's birth. On the 1953 D penny, this profile still retains its strength, showing the detailed depiction of Lincoln facing right with his strong jawline, distinctive beard, and thoughtful expression. Above his head, the motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed, while the word "Liberty" sits to the left, and the year 1953 with the small D mint mark positioned just below the date on the right. The design is simple yet iconic, a tribute to one of America's most respected leaders. On the reverse side, the wheat ears curve gracefully along the left and right edges, framing the central inscriptions, "1 cent," and "United States of America." At the top, the Latin phrase, "E pluribus unum," serves as a reminder of national unity. This reverse design, known as the wheat ears or wheat back, is one of the most beloved in U.S. coinage history, representing strength and abundance. During a period of American growth, the composition of the 1953 D penny also deserves attention. Like other Lincoln wheat pennies minted between 1909 and 1958, it was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This traditional alloy gives the coin its distinct reddish-brown hue. However, depending on the coin's storage conditions over the decades, examples may appear bright red, red-brown, or even darker brown due to oxidation and environmental exposure. Coins that have retained their original bright red luster are highly prized among collectors, as this appearance indicates minimal handling and excellent preservation. The combination of original copper shine and the strong strike from the Denver Mint makes such pieces especially valuable today. The Denver Mint struck over 700 million wheat pennies in 1953, which may sound like an overwhelming number. However, most of these coins were released into everyday circulation, where they suffered from heavy use. Over time, constant handling, pocket wear, and environmental exposure diminished the sharpness of their designs and led to scratches, discoloration, or even corrosion. As a result, while the coin itself is not rare in worn condition, it becomes significantly scarcer in grades of mint state, MS65, and higher. These uncirculated coins are the ones that can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. This explains why a common-looking penny from the 1950s can end up valued at $2,900 or more if it happens to be in pristine condition. The rarity is not in its production, but in its survival in such an untouched state. Another interesting aspect that adds intrigue to the 1953 D wheat penny is the possibility of minting errors and varieties. During the 1950s, despite advances in minting technology, mistakes still occurred on the production lines. Some 1953 D pennies are known to exhibit die cracks, doubled dies, or off-center strikes. These errors, though relatively uncommon, significantly boost a coin's desirability and value. For example, a 1953 D with a doubled die obverse, where parts of the lettering or the date appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment in the die engraving, can bring premium prices. Similarly, off-center strikes where the design is misaligned on the blank planche add uniqueness, making each error coin essentially one of a kind. Collectors often hunt for these unusual varieties because they tell a story of the minting process and provide a tangible link to the imperfections of human and mechanical production. To fully appreciate the 1953 D wheat penny, one must also understand the broader historical context in which it was minted. The year 1953 was a significant one in American history. It marked the beginning of President Dwight D. Eisenhower's administration following his election in 1952. The United States was entering a new era, balancing post-war prosperity with the rising tensions of the Cold War. The economy was booming, families were moving into suburban neighborhoods, and the American automobile and housing industries were expanding rapidly. Against this backdrop, the humble penny served as a symbol of everyday commerce. It changed hands in grocery stores, gas stations, diners, and schools, an unassuming yet essential part of daily life. Every 1953 D penny, therefore, carries with it a piece of this historical narrative, connecting today's collectors to a vibrant period in America's past. From a collector's perspective, the grading of a 1953 D wheat penny is one of the most critical factors in determining its value. Coins are carefully examined for strike sharpness, luster, surface marks, and overall eye appeal. For example, a coin graded MS60 may still be uncirculated, but will show noticeable marks and less luster, while an MS65 or higher grade indicates a near-perfect specimen with brilliant surfaces and minimal flaws. Professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company provide authentication and certification, which adds credibility to a coin's market value. This is why a 1953D penny that may look ordinary to the untrained eye could actually be worth several $1,000s once properly graded. Market trends also influence the value of this coin. The 1953D wheat penny appeals to both beginner collectors who enjoy the affordability of common circulated examples and advanced numismatists who seek the high-grade rarities. As more collectors enter the hobby and demand for vintage copper coins grows, the value of top-grade examples continues to climb. Auction houses have seen strong results for red high-grade 1953D wheat pennies, sometimes exceeding the estimated $12,900 value. This demonstrates that the coin's worth is not fixed, but can fluctuate with collector demand, rarity of condition, and market enthusiasm. In addition to financial value, the 1953D wheat penny carries sentimental and historical significance. Many people who grew up in the 1950s and 1960s still recall using these pennies in their childhood. Finding one today brings back memories of simpler times, when a penny could buy a piece of candy or go toward a soda at the local store. For younger generations, owning such a coin is like holding a small piece of history in their hands, a reminder of how America once looked, lived, and dreamed. This emotional connection adds another layer to the coin's desirability, making it more than just a piece of copper. It becomes a keepsake that tells a story. In conclusion, the 1953D wheat penny is a coin that beautifully balances accessibility with hidden value. While millions were minted, only a fraction survive today in exceptional condition, and those are the coins that command impressive prices on the numismatic market. With a current estimated value of around $12,900, the coin demonstrates how historical context, condition, rarity, and collector demand all intertwine to shape a coin's market worth. Its classic wheat design, strong Denver mint strike, and potential for rare era varieties make it a must-have for Lincoln cent enthusiasts. More than just a small copper coin, the 1953D wheat penny represents a bridge between America's past and present, offering collectors both financial potential and historical connection.